Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about something that affects loads of us out there, and that's really productivity paranoia. That feeling that there's just more and more to do and you can't get anything done, and you want to be efficient and effective in life, but this is just constantly on your shoulders. Do you ever find yourself looking at your to-do list and it seems to be getting longer and longer and you're not ticking enough things off, and it just feels like it doesn't matter how many hours you put into the day that you just can't achieve enough? And even when you take a break to watch a cat video on YouTube, that it feels like you should be working. You've got that nagging thought in the back of your head that even when you're asleep you should be working, you're just not productive enough, and that's really slowing you down. Well, don't worry, I've got some tips and some thoughts and techniques for you on how you can get over this productivity paranoia and back to actually being productive. First up, I'm going to try and call you back to reality. Stop setting unrealistic goals. Start being real about what you can actually achieve. You're trying to do everything, and that's a noble and valiant effort, but sometimes it's getting in the way of you being able to actually perform. I used to work with a chap who, to be fair, was probably the hardest working person in the team. You wouldn't question his work ethic at all. He was always on it. The only problem was he never seemed to achieve anything, and he was so determined to be great. He was so determined to lead and make sure he got all the plaudits and all the credit for doing a fantastic job that he spent hours and hours working on stuff that he just didn't need to be working on, which meant that the important stuff, the stuff he should be prioritising, never got done. And that really didn't do him any favours at all. So what he should have been doing is looking at some realistic goals. He should have been looking at, these are the 4 priority areas I need to work on, so I'm going to do that. He needed to focus, he needed to understand what his goals were, what the expectations were of him, and he needed to work towards that. And if he did, with his work ethic, he would have flown. Next up, you've got to look after yourself. So you need to prioritise that self-care. How can you be effective? How can you be productive if you don't feel good? If you constantly feel stressed, if you constantly feel anxious that you're not doing enough, then you're not going to be able to actually put your best foot forward. You're not going to be efficient. You're not going to be effective. So what you need to do is you need to understand that you're important too. So find some time to do some exercise, find some time to make sure you're going to eat healthy instead of just grabbing that chocolate bar, grabbing that pack of crisps or chips because you're so determined to stick on with the work. Take your lunch breaks, take your regular breaks through the day, recharge your batteries so you feel that you're in a position to actually put your best foot forward. Now, some of us are morning people, some of us are afternoon people. Identify where you do your best work as well, and let that be your focus, because if you can understand where you are going to do your best work, you can put stuff in place to do the most important things then. This should allow you to prioritise your self-care, because you realise that actually working really hard in the afternoon when you're a morning person isn't going to be as effective. So use some time there, take a break then to recharge your batteries. Take the time out to go for a run, to read a book, to do some meditation, to do something that feels good for you, that allows you to be at your most effective. Third up, and I'm going to throw out that growth mindset phrase at you. It's really important because sometimes I think when we're in the middle of this productivity paranoia, we're not getting the feedback we want because we're never doing enough, so we're beating ourselves up as well. And also it's likely that we're probably not focusing on the right things, so we're probably getting a hard time from your significant other because you've not done the dishes but you have managed to wash the cat for some reason, and you're probably getting some stick from work because you've not done this pile of reports and you're thinking, but I've done this amazing presentation. But we've really got to think about what's this growth mindset, because you're letting these comments really affect you, and that's driving your productivity down further. So let's have a look at it. Why are you getting the negative comments? Well, it probably would have been a better idea to do the dishes than wash the cat, and I'm sure the cat's not happy about that either. And really, were the reports more of a priority? So with the growth mindset, what we're going to do is we're going to take these failings and we're going to take any negative feedback and we're going to think about it, and we're going to understand what can we gain from this? How can we learn from the mistakes that we appear to have made? So focus on your pile of reports, focus on the dishes, and leave the poor cat alone. But a growth mindset is more than just listening to a few pieces of criticism and sorting them out. It's dealing with the setbacks you've got. So no matter how many things get thrown in your path, it's not taking them to heart. It's learning that you can get past these, you can get over them. Just look at Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Although he suffered numerous setbacks in his early life and his career, such as multiple injuries and being cut from the Canadian Football League, he refused to give up, and he kept working hard, he kept working and pushing forwards. And well, yeah, we have all seen what's become of him. He's now one of the biggest Hollywood stars out there, and that just shows the power of having that growth mindset, that determination to not give up even when things seem to be falling down all around us. Keep pushing on, believe in yourself. Now also, why don't we try to limit the use of technology? Now that sounds like a really daft thing to do, because surely technology can help us, but you're getting barraged with information and interruptions all day long. You've got the emails coming in, you've got your Teams calls, you've got the notifications on your phone, you've got the cat calling you to complain about being washed again. Now, what can you get rid of? Maybe you need to block some time out in your diary to say, right, I'm on Do Not Disturb, I'm going to turn off my email, I'm going to turn off my phone, and I'm going to work on this project, and I'm going to do it for a couple of hours. So by limiting your use of technology in these 2-hour blocks or 1-hour blocks, whatever works for you, and that's really important, remember to do what works for you. Will it allow you to focus more? Will it allow you to feel it in a safer space that allows you to get on with the real priority actions that you need to undertake? So can you put your phone on aeroplane mode? Are you able to turn off your Teams chat? Can you turn your emails off? What can you do to limit the interruptions you're going to get from technology? Understanding that different managers, different bosses have different expectations of us, but think about what's your situation. How can I reduce the number of interruptions I'm receiving? But finally, if you're in the midst of productivity paranoia, then seek support, speak to people, if it's friends, if it's family, if it's colleagues, maybe it's a coach if you've got one, maybe it's your line manager if you feel they're supportive, and talk about the stresses and the anxieties that you're going through. Because absolutely 99% of people want you to be successful, they want you to do well. And talking to them is going to allow you to get out some of your frustrations. They may be able to offer you some tips and thoughts on how you reduce your pile of expectations, or your line manager may be able to help you identify what your priorities are. But even if they don't, just being able to talk to people at times can be really uplifting, and it can allow you to refocus and reframe things in your mind. So take the opportunity to learn from other people's experiences, but also just to vent and experience, how good it feels to get things off your shoulders. Because productivity paranoia can be really frustrating at times. I know this. And if you're concerned about this, it's because you've got the ability to be productive. Now, just try and focus that. Find out what works for you. Find out what your priorities are. Set realistic goals and really move forwards with it, because I believe in you, you need to believe in you, but a lot of people around you believe in you. And if they don't, then they're not worth listening to anyway. So there we have it. There are 5 ways that we can look to deal with our productivity paranoia. So number 1, look at setting realistic goals and expectations of yourself. Number 2, look at making sure you prioritise self-care. Take time for you so you can reframe and refocus and feel refreshed. Number 3, develop a growth mindset so you can overcome any setbacks that may come your way. Number 4 is to limit the use of technology. So let's get rid of some of those interruptions that are bombarding us all day. And number 5 is make sure you seek feedback, seek support, talk to friends, talk to family, talk to colleagues and your managers and a coach if you've got one. Let them help you out. So I hope that this has been helpful for you and that you'll be able to deal with your productivity paranoia, which I hope you're not suffering with. But if you want to learn a little bit more about some other productivity tips, such as habits you can form and how to deal with life changes, then please feel free to check out the playlist that's going to be linked on the left. And all that leaves me to do is say thank you very much for your time, everyone. Have a really productive day, but remember, stay happy and you've got this.